I spent a month shooting over 3,000 photos and videos with the OM-3 mirrorless camera, and these are the settings that I customized within the camera to make it faster and easier to shoot with. I'll start off with a couple of general settings and then dive into my custom buttons and dial functions, and also explain how to use the camera's unique computational modes. And finally, I'll share all of the items on my custom menus in the camera. Now, the first thing I do whenever I get a new camera is turn off the beeps. I don't know about you, but they really annoy me. So to turn off the beeps, you hit the physical menu button. You go over to the gear or the wrench icon. Make sure you're over at monitor, sound, and connection. Then you scroll down to this little sound icon. Right now the beeps are on, but I want to go ahead and turn them off. Next, I'll put the camera on airplane mode to save battery life. So again, that's the wrench icon. And then we're going to go over to Wi-Fi/Bluetooth and airplane mode. If I ever want to connect the camera to my phone app to transfer media off of the card or to use it as a remote control, then that's the only time that I would turn airplane mode off. And by the way, if you do turn airplane mode off, make sure that the Bluetooth is also running. Next, I'm going to customize all of my physical buttons. So personally, I do this on my Sony full-frame camera, but I like to customize it so that when I press the physical autofocus on button, that turns on my teleconverter 2x zoom. So this way I can zoom in and out of my shots, and I find this really helpful, especially when shooting with fixed length prime lenses. Now if you do zoom in, it does make the resulting image a bit smaller, but I honestly don't see a noticeable drop in image quality, even on this Micro Four Thirds camera, so I use the teleconverter effect very liberally, even on the OM-3. So to assign custom physical buttons, you again want to hit the physical menu button, then you want to go back to this gear icon. Make sure you're on number 1, operations. And from here, go down to button settings. So you can set these for photo or for video. You can also set your shutter function. So I actually do set this to record so that when I'm in video mode, I can hit the shutter button to start and stop recording. I don't always have to hit the record button because I do find the placement of the record button to sometimes be a little unintuitive and I don't always hit it properly. But while I'm in here, the main thing that I do, and I do this for both the photo function and the video function, is I come in, you see here how when you scroll through, it's showing you the button that you can customize. And so the main thing that I do is customize this AF on button to be the teleconverter zoom function. You can see that there are many other things that you can select. You can customize pretty much every physical button on the camera here, and even some on your lenses. Next up, I want to customize my dial functions. So again, hit the physical menu button, go down to operations, and underneath button settings, you want to go down to dial settings. And again, you can set these for photo mode and for video mode. And in my case, I changed both. You can select which function you want to do it in. I mainly shoot in A or aperture mode. And so here's what I did. So I personally like the dial closest to my thumb to be my exposure compensation dial, and the dial nearest my index finger to control my aperture or my f-stop. So that's what I switched up here. Now what's also neat about the OM-3 is that there's a CP button up here. I'll explain more about the CP button soon, but in this context, you can flip the button from CP1 to CP2. You can change the dial functions in each CP mode. So when I'm in CP1, the dial nearest my index finger controls aperture, and in CP2, it controls ISO. Now since I mentioned the CP button, let's go into more detail about it. So when I'm in photo mode, I can hold down the CP button with my thumb, and then use my index finger to flip the dial. And you'll see a bunch of computational modes to choose from, such as high-resolution tripod shot, high-resolution handheld, various ND and graduated ND filters, HDR photo, or multiple exposure. I mainly use the graduated neutral density filters when shooting landscapes to darken my skies. But I also played with the HDR photo mode a few times, and multiple exposure. Basically, these are fun modes to spark your creativity. Now, one thing that I love about the OM-3 is how easy it is to add to your custom menu. At any time when you're scrolling through your menus here, you can just hit the physical record button and you can automatically add a menu item to your custom menu. So here we're going to go to My, and all of these are my custom My Menu items. And from within here, you can also press the red record button, and then you can rearrange them or remove them. It's super intuitive and makes it more likely that you'll actually use the custom menu, which I highly recommend doing to speed up your shooting workflow. So here are the things that I added to my menus. First of all, we have subject detection. So here you can choose, you can turn it off, you can have faces and eyes of people, you can detect cars and motorcycles, airplanes and helicopters, trains and locomotives, birds, or dogs and cats. I generally have this on people, unless I'm trying to shoot a specific other subject in here. Next up, we have digital teleconverter. This is for photo mode and also for video mode. I do again have my custom button here, but I like to have it in my menu as well, just in case. Next up, we have live GND, or graduated neutral density filter shooting. So this is something that you can access in the CP or computational modes settings. But again, I like to have it here just in case I want to customize the settings. You can select your gradual neutral density number or the strength. You can also choose your filter type. You can do soft, medium, or hard, and also the auto rotation. Again, these are things that you can also access through the CP button, but I like to have them here just because I find it a little more intuitive to adjust these settings within this menu. Next, we have interval shooting. This lets you shoot a set number or frames at a time span. It's really good for self-portraits or group shots. And finally, we have picture mode. So we have a bunch to choose from here. We have eye enhance, we have vivid, we have natural, muted, portrait, monochrome, custom, underwater. I leave this on eye enhance because that was personally my favorite filter. And for each picture mode that you select, you can go down and adjust the settings even further. You can customize sharpness, contrast, saturation, gradation, and effects. But personally, I just left this on eye enhance, and I didn't really adjust very much. I like the way that it looks, default straight out of camera. And finally, we have my third My Menu page. So first of all, I have airplane mode. I, again, generally leave it on, but I like to have quick access to it in case I want to transfer images off of my camera onto my phone for sharing on Instagram. And I did that quite a bit, actually, so this was really nice to have. There's also Bluetooth, because if you do turn airplane mode off, you also want to make sure that your Bluetooth is running. I also have monitor adjust. This is very helpful when you're shooting outdoors, because I do find that the default brightness is a little dark if you ever step outside. So that's a time when I might want to bump this up. But if I'm shooting indoors and I find the monitor to be a little too bright, I can also darken it. And finally, we have touchscreen settings. So I like to have this on because I do think it's nice to be able to, access your menu and your autofocus points through touchscreen, but sometimes that can get in the way. So if you ever want to turn it off, I have a quick and easy way to do that. So those are all of the things that I customized on the OM-3 to make it more functional for how I like to use my cameras. It's not a whole lot of customization, honestly, but yeah, that's how I use this camera for the past 30 days, shot over 3,000 photos, and I honestly really love this camera. If you want to learn more or hear more about what I thought about using it, then check out my separate video review. I'll leave a link in the description below. Let me know if you have any other questions, and I will see you in the next video.